Racism is everywhere and it's institutionalized. We cannot really be racist because racism is prejudice plus power. Nothing I say up here nor anywhere in the world will impact stop front.
All right. Welcome once again to the beatzillapdx official news break. And this particular news break is about one Mark Robinson of North Carolina. This is called Life Imitating Art. As you see the picture on your screen, one is of Mr. Mark Robinson, the, I guess, lieutenant governor or running for lieutenant governor of North Carolina. I believe he's running for governor now for North Carolina. And of course, on the other side of the screen, you see one Uncle Ruckus. And as you will go through this broadcast, you will see the comparisons of the two. Is why I called this broadcast Life Imitating Art. And yes, without further ado, let's get into this guy. You know, he's very, very much right wing, and he's coming out sounding a lot like a more radical Jesse Lee Peterson, or even the dude that you just heard last week on Dr. Phil. He's sounding very much like that. He's very much against reparations, and so he actually came out in his campaign speech talking against reparations. So let's look at that first.
There are some people that were talking about reparations in this country. They wanted reparations. And I remember I made this particular liberal so angry at me because I told them right to their face, nobody owes you anything for slavery. If you want to tell the truth about it, it is you who owes. It's you who owes. Why do you owe? Because somebody in those fields took stripes for you. Somebody, after those fields were ended and slavery was ended, somebody had to walk through Jim Crow for you. Somebody fought wars and died for you. Somebody lived less than because they didn't have what you have, and they did it for you. There are people in their graves right now, and they are there because they were willing to stand up and fight for you. Those folks on the Edmund Pettus Bridge carrying American flags, take that, Colin Kaepernick, living in a society that he could scarcely acknowledge, something that he has never known, living with a bigotry that none of us can imagine. Carried American flags on that bridge. And when they were hit upside the head with nightsticks and shot with water hoses and knocked to the ground, they got up and picked those flags up and kept marching. And they did it for you. Nobody owes you anything. If anybody owes, it's you. Because you've been the benefactor of freedom. You are the one that owes.
So clearly, this is one of those fellows that is sent out there with the right wing, anti black, white supremacist talking points. And he is definitely going full steam. Now, mind you, what we're facing with right now is we're talking about reparations. There was no need for him to actually mention reparations in his campaign, considering how he is a Republican and he's already has a Republican base. So it's kind of interesting when you see somebody go out of their way to take a shot at reparations when in his case, I don't really think it was even necessary for him to do. He's so extremely right wing and so overtly black MAGA that this guy, and he has a history of kind of being a flip flopper because he's a pro-lifer dude. But this guy, even in his own past, although he rails now against abortions, he actually paid for one in his own personal history. So take that as you will. But with that being said, this guy has had some other issues, and people have looked at this guy as being a problem. He's very much a radical. But however, I don't want y'all to confuse when you see this guy with his skin color, because he absolutely relates to these type of individuals way more than black people.
So we just stormed the fucking Capitol, took the motherfucking place back. That was so much fun.
So much America. So much America.
January 6th will be a day in infamy.
Yes, yes.
And that it did. That it did. This guy has also been a big NRA supporter as well. And it's interesting because I'm looking at this article from last year. This is last May, actually, May 28th, 2022, coming from I believe this is ABC 11. I'm not sure what channel that is. I believe it's out of Texas. Excuse me. Let's see. It goes on to read, Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson delivered a speech at the annual NRA convention Friday in Houston, just days after an 18-year-old gunman shot and deleted 19 elementary school students and 2 teachers at the school in Uvalde, Texas. Taking the stage after Texas Senator Ted Cruz, Robinson opened his remarks by addressing the recent tragedy. Now, right off the rip, he's following Ted Cruz. Well, that should say something to you right there. My heart is broken for the people of Uvalde, those parents who lost children, loved ones, all those friends, neighbors who are suffering. I'm reminded of the words of Abraham Lincoln when he said to Miss Bixby how weak and fruitless his words must be to try and comfort her. And it's the same here. I can't imagine the horror and tragedy having your children go off to school and seeing them no more alive. It breaks my heart absolutely. And when I heard about it, I shed tears. When I took my own grandchildren, my grandchildren are about that age, I can't help but think, what if it was one of mine, Robinson said. During his address, Robinson believed there are steps that can be taken to reduce mass shootings. Everybody says, what we do. What do we do? What do we do? How do we stop this? What do we do? The answer is not simple, but there is a simple starting point, and here it is. Secure our schools, said Robinson. He pushed back on tighter restriction or regulations regarding ownership or access to guns. The time for blaming law-abiding citizens should have never begun. It's time to put blame where it goes, which is at the shooter's feet, Robinson said. You can't really disagree with that particular point. Robinson, who has received financial contributions from the NRA during his run for office, also appeared in a commercial for the organization in 2018 after his address at a Greensboro City Council meeting over gun rights went viral. Yeah, I'm not really shocked about that. And before let me read a little more. For Gerald Givens Jr., who served on the board of directors for the advocacy group North Carolinians Against Gun Violence, the recent shootings in Uvalde and Buffalo have been triggering. How did you just lump those two together? Okay. I mean, now there is there's a couple similarities in the Uvalde and Buffalo thing, but however, those similarities are not really being focused on. It goes on. Over my lifetime, I have lost 6 family members to gun violence. I've lost my grandfather, my uncle, my brother, and 3 cousins, said Givens, who also is the president of the Raleigh Apex NAACP. Givens Jr., like Robinson, has a military background, but the two differ on gun policy. Givens Jr. does not believe the AR-15 should be sold. No American can go and buy M16, buy an M16 because an M16 is a fully automatic weapon, but an AR-15 is a semi-automatic weapon, and someone who is trained like me, I'm capable of being able to get off 45 rounds a minute with an AR-15. Now, let me explain what he just said, though. A semi-automatic. Well, all handguns are semi-automatics, unless you're using like single-action pistol. But so to put that in perspective, it would be no difference than, say, a Glock 19 or something like that, 40 caliber or something. You're still shooting a semi-automatic weapon. A 38, you're shooting a semi-automatic weapon. So where you're getting it's not any different. Like, yeah, you're trained and skilled, but the average person and those individuals that went and did those shootings, I don't think they were as trained as a military veteran. So come on. But anyway, 45 rounds per minute with an AR-15 is that type of firepower that we want in American citizens, that we want American citizens to have in our society. Well, see, again, when you ask questions, is that the type of firepower that we want American citizens to have in our society? The Second Amendment says that's not your place to question. We see the tragic results. I can beg to say that there has been one other thing that goes along with American history that has always been way more dangerous and always tragic. That's called supremacy. He also pushed back on the view that other factors such as mental health or media imagery played a large role in gun violence. We're no different than any other country in the world that has mental health issues. Other kids have played video games. Other kids will see movies with violence inside of them. So it's not like we're unique with having that in our culture. Not at all. And actually, if you, truth be told, if you look around the world, American TV is kind of tame to some other places, to be quite honest at this moment, with all the censorship and whatnot. So let's see. What's the difference compared to everybody else in the world is that we have more than 400 million guns in our society, said Givens. A 2018 report by Small Army Survey found the United States had a civilian firearm ownership rate more than double Yemen, which had the second highest in the world. Wow, highest in the world. The report estimated that the total number of firearms in the United States at 393,300,000, while a report from the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health listed the amount somewhere in between 350 and 400 million. Damn, that's a lot. That is a lot of firearms, though. But I mean, considering you have to look, this is something I look at when I hear about this big gun debate. That's how your country was founded. So yeah, you're reaping the seeds now. Because look at what's going on. You have the gun issue is at an all-time high. You have reparations, which is right there at your doorstep. These two main staples are right there at your feet. You caused this. Third, if you really wanted to talk about the environment, well, how was the industry of America funded on agriculture? So you've been pilfering the land this long. and you've been boosting your industry behind it by way of what? Trying to figure out how to make up for the loss of free labor that started it in the first place. So you are looking at, I guess you would say, the chickens coming home to roost, or the fruit is, or the tree is bearing fruit, and it's time to reap the harvest. I guess that would be pretty accurate, looking at what you've done. You keep trying to figure out how to give law enforcement more money and manufacture more crime bills when there is not an overload of crime. That's why now it's about gun violence and gun violence and gun violence. Like that is the only level of violence that exists in this country. Well, it's not. However, back to this guy, this Mark Robinson dude. Let me show you his campaign ad, family, because I'm just saying, when you see things like this, remember Gary Chambers? Y'all remember Gary Chambers? Just think the flip side of Gary Chambers, and here we go.
My mom took her 5th grade education and walked across the street and got a job at a university. She cleaned up after other people's children to provide for her own. She told me to dream. She told me with faith and hard work, I could achieve anything. She was so right.
History made in the Tar Heel State last night.
Who exactly is Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson?
I'm the majority.
Robinson, do you swear?
I do. I stand before you today as the first black lieutenant governor of North Carolina. Served in the military. I've worked in furniture plants. I've been a general manager for a restaurant chain. And I owned a small business with my wife. As a factory worker, I made good money. Until NAFTA hit. I lost my job not once, but twice. My wife and I faced these tough times as we worked to raise a young family with 2 wonderful children. Like so many of you, we know the gnawing feeling you get from worrying about money, how it keeps you up at night as your children sleep. I've lost my car, my home, and was forced into bankruptcy. Like you, I don't need a politician to tell me what to be worried about. It's obvious. We know the price of gas and groceries and childcare is outrageous. We know too many children can't read on a grade level, that they've been failed by an education bureaucracy that's leaving them unprepared for life once they graduate. And sadly, we know our teachers aren't respected and aren't treated or paid as the professionals that they are. We know that shuttered factories like the ones I've worked for have left scars all over the small towns of North Carolina. We also know that our police departments are struggling, that they can't fill their ranks because we are demonizing the men and women in blue. North Carolina doesn't need more slick politicians who use work boots and Carhartt jackets as props in TV ads. They're just pretending to be one of us.
So you can see where that dude is coming from, family. Make no mistake where he coming from. He's one of those. You need to pull yourself up by the bootstraps. So now he started with his mom. That's why he did that. So let me lead with my mama. Come on now. That's what that was about. I'm gonna lead with my mom. So I mean, and this dude has been controversial before. Like, check this out. This is the type of cat this is.
The transgender movement in this country, if there's a movement in this country that is demonic and that is full of the spirit of Antichrist, it is the transgender movement. 2 genders. You can go to the doctor and get cut up. You can go down to the dress shop and get made up. You can go down there and get drugged up. But at the end of the day, you were just a drugged up, dressed up, made up, cut up, man or woman. It's time for grown-ups and time for Christians to start standing up and being unafraid to tell the truth. They're dragging our kids down into the pit of hell, trying to teach them that mess in our schools. That ain't got no place at no school. 2 plus 2 don't equal transgender. It equals 4. You need to get back to teaching them how to read instead of teaching them how to go to hell.
So he went back to the fire and brimstone. So, he's already turning off a certain voter right there, especially, with the Democrats, which he's not looking for Democrat votes. I don't really understand why this dude is running. Because to be so overtly abrasive. See, now, again, I will say this, though. If anybody is going to run as a politician and be so, what do they say, polarizing, why not do this for the account of reparations? Making sure that Black people are a protected group, making sure that there is an anti-hate crime bill for foundational Black Americans. You understand what I'm saying? These type of things can be done. Like health insurance, state paid health insurance, and then also funding for what do they say, ethnic specific, so foundational Black American specific clinics and hospitals, and start helping build and undergird those institutions as well. Because again, we are the only people with lineage tie to this land, and a political lineage tie to this land. No other group. I guess there would be one other group at least that could say that. But I mean, with that being said, you also still kind of one and the same with that, because we would still be predating them. So with that being said, let me play one more thing from you, because this is how I guess his candidacy is being received out there in North Carolina. Check this out.
Yeah, and Steve, an AR-15, that is the gun behind some of the country's deadliest mass shootings. It was recently used in Texas, also Parkland. Now there is this back and forth, this debate over the intent behind a speech you just heard there from the lieutenant governor involving that particular weapon.
I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm probably not supposed to say it, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson acknowledging in this video he was about to take the conversation in a direction.
I'm going to say it to you plain. Your boy ain't going down without swinging.
He explains why he keeps AR-15s and says it is not for target practice.
I got them AR-15s in case the government gets too big for its britches. Because I'm going to fill the backside of them britches with some lead.
Governor Roy Cooper taking aim today and sending out a scathing response, essentially calling Robinson dangerous. The governor tweeting an elected official sworn to uphold the Constitution, advocating violent overthrow of our government, shames North Carolina and puts our safety and democracy at risk. The lieutenant governor firing back, hurling that no one with a brain thinks I'm calling for people to attack government officials. He goes on to say the governor, as well as Attorney General, are skewing his words because, quote, they are scared of me and they don't want me to be governor. Ashley Clayton owns a gun and grew up around them in a law enforcement family. I showed her the video in question.
Because I'm going to fill the backside of them britches with some lead.
And that's the kind of rhetoric that needs to stop.
She's been heartbroken over the Texas school shooting and thinks of her own kids. She wants to see more legislation that supports responsible gun ownership.
And now I'm at the point where enough is enough. No more excuses. Stop talking about it. Do something.
So the organization Grassroots North Carolina is coming to Robinson's defense and says that the governor right now is trying to exploit a tragedy. We're live in Raleigh tonight. Elena Athens, ABC 11 Eyewitness
Mm.
News.
Now, see, I'm looking at this in a few ways. One way I'm looking at this is, again, we're getting back to a all about guns conversation. Now, he throws reparations in there, but this guy is a pro-gun guy. Now, all of a sudden, he's throwing reparations into the conversation. Why would he be doing that now? I'll tell you why. Because the word has went out from the top. Like I said, and I keep saying, and I believe other people are saying as well, this effort against reparations is not a Republican or Democrat thing. It is the powers that be that fund both sides. And that is who is pushing against this idea. Then it funnels down to the Joe Everyman. And they don't like the idea of foundational Black Americans getting what is due to them either. And, so we have a lot of these outsiders like Dr. Phil. They'll come out there and they'll say, well, I don't think that, that really makes sense and it's not really feasible. Well, this is what we say to people like Dr. Phil and the folks of his ilk when it comes down to foundational Black Americans reparations.
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
And so when it comes down to people like this and the other Sambo sauce winner and poster child, we have to understand what we see when we see them. And right now we're seeing some of those people coming out imitating art. This is where life is imitating art, because we got a real live Uncle Ruckus running for North Carolina governor. And to this cat, I have to say, Mr. Mark Robinson, brother.
You shade tree nigger.
So we have to do that. And I do firmly believe that this dude is actually FBA. I really couldn't see him being much else of anything else. And with that being said, for one, Mr. Mark Robinson, I would have to award him with a bottle of Sambo sauce. Sambo.
The reason that we're in this mess that we're in today, a lot of us are, has nothing to do with the shadow of slavery or Jim Crow.
Are you kidding me?
Sambo.
Say to you that the solutions to the challenges we face today, ladies and gentlemen, has to go beyond race, because the real crisis is the moral and spiritual freefall that is consuming our children.
Sambo.
Now, I will say that when you think about the issue of Kamala Harris and what she will or will not be able to accomplish, you're going to have to start talking about sexism, which I would argue is almost worse than, maybe worse than, racism in this country.
Sambo.
Can I ask a question? Can you show me his face? Is that a constitutional rule? Or state rule? But I mean, what do you mean by problem? Sambo.
President Camacho on why he's running in 2020. Foe.
I'm running for president some more in 2024. Yeah, that's right, bitches. And you are all invited to my official campaign launch party this Monday night at Banger's Sausage House. I like the sound of that. My boy Thundercat's gonna play. And we gonna party like it's 25-24, man. All right, Uncle Camacho, and peace the fuck out. Let's ride.
Ad paid for by Brondo Incorporated.
Sambo, Sambo, Sambo. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. This cat has definitely earned him a slot on the poster for Sambo sauce. So, yeah. Shout out to Mark Robinson. You have definitely got your Sambo Sauce Award. Yes, indeed. You get the nod, brother. And for those of y'all who says, well, he actually makes some good points, man. He says some good things, man. Yeah.
Get up off of that cocaine and get up off of that crack. Get yourself together and get your mind back.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. So that has been a Beatzilla PDX official news break. And we had to hit this subject real quick, just talking about this dude, Mark Robinson, North Carolina. I would say if you guys are out there voting in North Carolina's election for governor, you might want to vote against this dude. Because life is imitating art here, and you got a real live Uncle Ruckus. But hey, somebody might disagree. And if you do agree or disagree, you can go ahead and let us know down in the comment section below. And also like and share this video. Please like and share. And follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at beatzillapdx. And you can email me at ourrealtruth@gmail.com. And if you want to go ahead and support this channel, all of that information will be down in the description. The Cash Apps, which is $beatzillapdx, and the PayPal, you can do so. And thank y'all for once again tuning in to a Beatzilla PDX official news break. And also be on the lookout tomorrow evening. We will be doing a new Black Media Appreciation Month roundtable. So we have some guests, as you already see. We have Brother Torian Rain, Reloaded, Kid Gravity, Beyond. Brother Sage will be here. Also, I'm going to have Brother Dwan B. He actually is hosting at the comedy show tomorrow night at the Hidden History Museum. But I will be having a quick video interview with Brother Dwan B as well. And we will also have Sister Just Eve and Marcel Dixon will be in the house. So, and who knows who else might make that list. So be on the lookout for that tomorrow evening, and that will be our midweek report. We were doing the new Black Media Appreciation Month Roundtable Mash Up. So come on and tune on in. So with that being said, family, stay black, stay vigilant, stay alive. Black first. Shalom, y'all.